I hope you've all managed the week well and it's stayed sunny all week. Just to remind you that this is a Monday recording for a Friday assembly, so the news round that you'll be watching is Monday morning's news round. I hope that you are all well. I hope you enjoy the news round programme, and then I'll have a few questions for you to discuss with the people in your class and your teacher and at home about some of the key headlines. So enjoy.
Happy Monday, guys. I'm Martin, and this is News Rounds. Coming up this morning, the Junior Bake Off winner joins us live for a wee chat. And we bring you this week's happy news. What a show! First, I'm sure lots of you are getting ready for another day of online learning, and you might be wondering, when will schools open up again? Well, there are different plans across the UK. In England and Northern Ireland, it won't be before the 8th of March, while in Scotland, schools are closed to most pupils until at least mid-February. In Wales, pupils might be able to return just after half-term. Ricky's been putting some of your questions to the women in charge of education in Wales.
So we've got a comment here from one of our viewers in Wales who says, I wanted to go back to school, but when I was told I couldn't go, I started crying. So it's obvious how much children are really missing school again. When do the Welsh Government hope that children will be back in the classroom?
I know how much children are missing school, and it's a really hard decision to have children out of school again at the moment. What I would say to that viewer is that we hope to get you back as soon as possible. And as soon as the doctors and the scientists say that cases of COVID are coming down in Wales and it's safe to go back, then I can promise you we'll have you back as quickly as we possibly can, because I know how important it is. I've got daughters at home, they too are absolutely gutted that they're not in school. So I want to get everybody back as quickly as we can.
And Kirsty, how long do you think it's suitable for children to be learning at home?
Well, teachers are trying really hard to make sure that learning from home is as good as it can be, but it's no substitute for being in school, working face to face with a teacher. So at the moment, it's a bit difficult to make a prediction about how the pandemic is going to go. Because we're just not quite sure, what will happen next. But what I can be sure of is that everybody in Wales is working really hard to get children back to school as quickly as possible.
This is another one. They said, I think the teachers need to be moved up the vaccine list so that we should be able to get back to school. Do you think teachers need to be moved up the priority list so that students can get back to the school sooner?
Well, I think it's really important to understand why the vaccine priority list exists the way it does. And it's been done in this way to protect people who are most likely to be really, really ill from COVID, or sadly to die from COVID. The best way to get children back to school is to have low levels of COVID in our community. And so if we all do our bit, that'll bring the COVID cases down, and the quicker they can come down, the quicker we can get children back to school.
And we know lots of children haven't got the right tech. All over the United Kingdom, we've had cases of kids not being able to get laptops and then not really being able to study properly at home.
So we're working really hard to get even more kit and equipment out to young people that need it. It's really important that children, if they're struggling, let their school know, because the school, the council and the government want to help them.
Kirsty, thank you so much again for your time and for talking to News Round. We really appreciate it, and hopefully you stay safe, and we'll catch up again soon.
Now, we're also hoping to speak to the people in charge of schools in Northern Ireland, Scotland and England, so watch this space, and there's loads more on the website too. Next, after 2 weeks of tasty treats, delicious desserts and some really sweet bakes, the winner of Junior Bake Off was crowned on Friday night. And I wonder what that felt like. Shall we ask the winner? Here he is with us this morning. Good morning, Rhys. Thanks for talking to News Round, and congratulations.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
No problem. And you've got to take us back to that time where you were announced as the winner of Junior Bake Off. Tell us what went through your mind at that moment.
Honestly, it was like such an amazing experience. As Harry, you're just waiting for Harry to say the name of who's crowned, and just waiting and waiting. And then when your name is said, it's just an absolute shock. It's just absolutely incredible.
What made you apply to be on Junior Bake Off in the first place, Reese?
My mum was ill like about 5-6 years ago, and I used to bake for all of the doctors' friends and nurses and things who used to look after my mum, to thank them. And it kind of just went from there. So I started making like fairy cakes and things, and that's where my baking kind of sprouted from.
Now, you made some fantastic bakes throughout the show, but you've got to tell us which one was your favourite?
Probably my JBO finale cake. I think that was really impressive. I was shocked about how it came out.
Reese, I've got to say that cake does look absolutely amazing. When I first saw it, I just wanted to eat it. I've got to tell you. Now, you've done a little surprise for us this morning, haven't you? What is that next to you?
Yes, I've made a cake for you guys.
Wow.
Here it is, the second half for News Round.
So just describe what you've done, because it looks amazing, but what is that? What's in that cake? What ingredients are there?
So here's just like a simple vanilla sponge cake with strawberry jam and vanilla buttercream. And then I've just topped it off with lots of different flowers and lots of different sweets.
Oh, that looks amazing. Reese, thanks very much for talking to Newsround, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so now it's time to put a wee smile on that face. It's my favourite way to start the week. It's time for some happy news. Enjoy it.
What does this button do?
First up is this happy Daredevil mountain biker Danny McCaskill, who's normally heading off around the globe to find some mountains to bike down. He decided to take to the mountains in the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and certainly looks to be enjoying himself there, doesn't he? Right, here's something you don't see every day. A floating giraffe. Yep, this lucky and very happy giraffe is being floated to safety after it was stranded in the floodwaters in Kenya. Bet he's happy to be back in the dry land, eh? Last up, we have some mega happy gig goers. That's easy for you to say. The band Flaming Lips wanted to put on a show for their fans, so decided the safest way to do it was to put everyone in bubbles. Now that's some happy music lovers. Now, check out this rocket that launched in America over the weekend. It's the first ever rocket to use bio-derived fuel. That means it uses a type of renewable energy, which is much better for the planet than burning fossil fuels like oil and coal. Its inventor says the fuel came from a secret ingredient found on farms. Stinky. And you'll be glad to hear the Stardust 1 successfully flew a mile into the air before parachuting back to Earth. And finally, when there's fun to be had, there's no way these pandas are going to miss out. The giant pandas at a zoo in Washington in the US have been having a rare wee time tumbling about in the snow. Well, what better way to end the show? That's it from us for now. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. I popped up fast there. Hang on a minute. Let me just make sure I've paused it because I know it didn't work last time. Okay, yes, I think we're okay. No, we're not. Look. Yeah, I know. Sorry about this, guys. Right, there we are. We're back. Always happens with Newsround that I still can't work out what goes wrong. But anyway, we're back. How good was that second to last story about the rocket being used with biofuel, which is amazing, using, well, basically cow poo, to fuel the rocket, which is amazing, which is based quite similar on all of the themes that we've been looking at in our reading sessions, which is super. And it flew 1.5 miles up in the air, so that's amazing. And then, yeah, so the main stories you've got on there for the Monday morning was about children coming back to school, and you spoke to the Welsh education minister there, and she basically said that teachers might not go on the priority list for vaccines. That'll be something good to discuss with your teachers, whether they think they should be on the vaccine list. And then as well about whether online learning is a good thing. And I know that we discussed in class on Friday about online learning and about, is there going to be a difference when children come back to school with how much is being learned at home compared to in school, because I know we've in year 6 we were looking at fractions, decimals and percentages, and we were flying through it, and we thought, oh, we hope everyone at schools at home's doing the same thing and they're finding it as easy as we are. So but we'll have to see when children come back to school, so fingers crossed there won't be too much of a difference. So yeah, the main thing about that story is I'd have a discussion about whether your teachers and whether you think the teachers should be on that list for the vaccine. The second story was looking at the Bake Off, and they interviewed the winner of the Bake Off, didn't they? He looked really lovely, bless him, and his cakes and bakes, and that's been something I know has kept a lot of children going throughout this lockdown. They've been watching that at 5 o'clock every evening. So do you think if you did watch it, that winner is a deserved winner, and that gorgeous cake, which looked like it was based on like pollution, or had bees on it and honeycomb and bits of sunflowers and stuff. It looked beautiful. I definitely couldn't bake like that. So again, do you think the winner was deserved there? Can you bake? Have you been baking throughout this lockdown? I know that I've tried to, not as much as the first lockdown, so I'm trying to eat a bit healthier, but it's so easy, isn't it, to bake some nice treats, especially when you watch something like the Bake Off. And then the third story is about the rocket, and then the final one was about those really cute pandas. And on Friday, the news story was on the panda in South Korea that had been born, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, really, really lovely stories. The main questions I think I'd put to you is about the biofuel. And if you think it's a movement for the better, do you think they'll eventually get to the moon on biofuel? What are the downsides to it? And again, the first question about being on the priority list, do you think teachers should be on that priority list for the vaccine? Have a great discussion with your teachers, guys, and with people at home. I will see you next week for our final week of this half term of the story sessions. I hope that you have a great weekend, stay safe, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.